Call Wedemark Keith today. It's more to us. It's personal.
See a loved roof? Chances are it's a Langley.
Okay, this is a fun time of year. It's a busy time of year, but let's face it, this also is an eating time of the year. So we're going to talk this morning with Haley Dunning. She is here with the Hamilton County Health Department. You are a health and wellness educator, is that right?
Yeah, a public health educator.
Public health educator, and today we're getting you educated on diabetes. This happens to be Diabetes Awareness Month, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, there's type 1 and there's type 2. Then we hear, Haley, about pre-diabetes, which a lot of us scratch our heads and say, what does that really mean?
Yeah.
I guess it goes back to paying attention and kind of knowing what your numbers are in a way, so you know how healthy you really are.
Yeah, so about 1 in every 2 of us might have prediabetes or diabetes in America. It's really common.
1 in 2?
Yeah, so over 136 million Americans have prediabetes and or diabetes in our country.
Okay, let's talk on the pre-diabetes for just a minute. What does that mean? Is that like being a little bit pregnant? I mean, are you?
Yeah, it's when you we want to prevent diabetes, a full type 2 diagnosis, as much as we can. So we're trying to diagnose diabetes, kind of flag for your risk of developing it earlier on. So it's similar to getting tested for diabetes, but then once your blood sugar levels have elevated just enough to get that prediabetes diagnosis, it's good to be aware of the lifestyle changes we can maybe make to prevent that full-on diagnosis.
Okay, because that's why I was saying like the little bit pregnant thing, because within that blood sugar level, did I say that right? Reading, there are fluctuations, right? There's kind of a range, so you could be on the low end or the high end. Is that right?
Yeah, so it's something like a blood glucose test that you get done, or an average of several weeks of your blood sugar levels is a A1C test, and that's how you get diagnosed for diabetes.
So true or false? There could be people watching who say, well, I don't think that could be me because I don't really eat a lot of sweets. Is sweets the only contributor?
No,
to
not
diabetes?
necessarily. It can be something with your genetics, and if you have a family member that has had diabetes, especially if it's a closer family member, that could be flag you for a risk for developing it over time. So it's something to be aware of.
You hear all the time about sugar kind of being in everything we eat. There are like hidden uses of it that you don't realize. So again, to the point of I'm not eating desserts a lot, but I still think this might be me. It could be because it's in some of the foods you're eating unknowing to you.
Yeah, it could be from carbohydrates, and some of those starchier foods can actually, they break down into simpler sugars for our body, and that would elevate our sugar levels as well.
Are there some things you would feel that might give you an indication that this could be a problem you're struggling with?
It could be, you could get dizzier and have some other like medical problems come up, but I would mainly talk with your
primary
care provider if you have any risk for developing diabetes, to just be managing that and watching out for it.
It is a little bit ironic that they would choose to make November Diabetes Awareness Month, because this is that season where sweets abound and parties galore are happening. So is moderation your key?
Yeah, so I would be really just mindful of the sugars, and when you do have something with a lot of carbs and sugars, make sure you're getting a lot of fiber and protein as well. So the turkey counts.
Oh, okay.
And then make sure that when you are doing your heavier eating times, that we do get up, maybe take a 10-15 minute walk, and try to get at least 30 minutes of some physical activity like movement 5 times a week.
Do you have conversations with people sometimes? I guess you or the team there at the health department will kind of examine with somebody what they're eating, what a typical week looks like, how much we drink our calories, water versus a soft drink.
Yeah, so it's usually recommended to avoid sugary drinks, do those zero sugar alternatives and things like that. That's one of the main lifestyle changes you can switch to, especially if you're at risk. But you can always drink more water as well, and just minimize those as much as possible.
Okay, I'm glad that you used the phrase at risk, because if you're a person watching, and sometimes, is this also true or false, that sometimes if you struggle with type 2 diabetes or are pre-diabetic, there can be some weight loss that's recommended too. Is that true?
Yeah, so making sure you're having like a healthy weight not fluctuating. That happens a lot with diabetes because your body is stressed out, and so
Right.
it might fluctuate. So
But that's easier said than done.
Yeah.
And that can be such a discouraging thing for people because sometimes you can feel like the world looks at you as if it's your fault, if you will,
Yeah.
for having the battle.
Yeah.
So do y'all kind of walk hand in hand with people to give them
Yeah.
some real tips on how to conquer this?
of course,
thing?
because it's not necessarily that's more of a stigma that's around that it's someone's fault. It just happens, and so it's really good to take charge of what you can change, but also know it's not your fault, and that we can do all sorts of things and you can adapt into your life.
With the minute that I have left, besides showing people how to get in touch with you, if you do struggle with type 2 diabetes, you do want to get a grip on it because it can lead to other health problems.
Yeah, so we want to make sure that we are taking care of pretty much all of the things with preventing it can go into the management side of diabetes and type 1 and type 2 of making sure we're being physically active and watching those certain foods that trigger your blood sugar spikes.
And you know what? It takes a team. So if somebody you
Yeah.
know and love is facing this battle, be mindful of that when you set the table or throw the party and
Yeah.
set them up for success, not failure.
Of course.
Great to talk to you
Yeah,
today.
thank you.
You'll find the Hamilton County Health Department. You know where to find them down there on East 3rd Street. There's their phone number. And then online, it's help.hamiltontn.org. Haley here is just one of the many resources they have to help with you in all parts of your life. Thanks.
Thank you.
It's coming this Saturday and Sunday. Finders Keepers massive sales event. New clothing starting at $3. Household goods, kitchenware, tools starting at just $7. Everything's new with thousands of new items every Saturday. We have what you don't know you're looking for. Finders Keepers. Get there.
Ow.
What's going on?
Now my car needs new struts and I can't afford it.